It's crap contents. It's crap contents. It's crap content. Welcome to crap content. Welcome to crap content. And it's a retro book club special. And on this one, it's a developer special. Let's get started, shall we? So first one up, it's one that I wanted quite a lot. It's A Gremlin in the Works. It's a book I wanted it's a book I've always wanted because I used to shop in the shop that started Gremlin Graphics. It's got like an interview with people that work there at Just Micro and things. It's a very interesting read. It's quite a big hefty book. So it's pretty cool to read and find out about it. It's got some pictures of Sheffield and things. It's a pretty cool book. The interview and the chatting is pretty good. I've got about halfway through it, so I'm just gone past the point where I found interesting when they owned the shop, and then from being a shop, being into developing games, and then being Gremlin Graphics. It's a pretty cool book. It's got quite a lot of nostalgia in there. The interview reads pretty cool. And it's got everything you need to know about Gremlin games. It's well worth getting. It's definitely a good read. It's one of my favourite books. Like I said, I'm halfway through it. I'll review it again once I've gone through to the end. But it's a really good book. It's well worth getting. Next up, Chris Wilkins, Roger M. Keane, The Story of U.S. Gold. It's quite an interesting book, quite an interesting read, because they started from nothing. And back in the day, these just seemed to be big straight from the word go when I was a kid. But it's interesting to read that it wasn't that way. And it started off from being a small company and building up to buying different properties and things. It's quite an interesting read. Quite a lot of pictures in there. It's got everything from, publishing all the games and producers and that. Right up until they got sold to, I think, Equinox or somewhere, or Eidos. It's a really good read to read. It's a good book. It's got plenty of pictures, plenty of nostalgia in there. Some good interviews towards the back of it too. Well worth getting. Next up, Ocean, the History. This is pretty cool because these were knocking around for years, and it's pretty interesting to read about Ocean Software and the games that they produce. I do like the early Ocean game stuff, and you can see how they just got bigger and bigger, and they started buying up movies, rights, and music and everything. It was a pretty good company, pretty good for the Spectrum. Just look at all those. You just had to own them. If you got Ocean on, you know you're going to be alright. It's a pretty cool book. It's got quite good interviews in there. Quite good nostalgia about the games and stuff. It's well worth reading and a look through. It's got some really good interviews in there with staff and everything. And it's pretty cool to read. Also, where is it? Oh, look at my key. Iconic. Jillian's Gold. Bagman. I love that game. It's got some cool stuff in here. And also, it's got a couple of bits that you could do. I definitely check out Rose Tinted Spectrum. He's done a thing with... Check out Rose Tinted Spectrum. He's done a thing with this. And all the cartoons that he used to get thrown of staff and lampooning them. It's really well worth checking out his video. All three of these are really worth your while. Like I said, I'll review this again once I'm further on. I'm about halfway through, so I'm doing pretty well. It's pretty cool, really. I never knew how much went off. Gremlin Graphics did some amazing games too, and they just don't get talked about as much as Ocean and the other US Gold and the other developers. Yet there was top of the draw stuff. Some of the games were amazing. Oh, and I never knew that they did the opening titles for Bad Influence. Which, go check Rose Tinted Spectrum's out for Bad Influence. It's such an amazing channel. So that's Crap Content Retro Book Club Special, Developer Special. Thanks for watching. Go.